That's the good stuff. And then we get to choose who we let into our weird little worlds. You're not perfect, sport. And let me save you the suspense. This girl you met, she isn't perfect either. But the question is whether or not you're perfect for each other. That's the whole deal. That's what intimacy is all about.
Why don't you love me, Jenny? I'm not a smart man, but I know what love is.
Yeah.
What easy way? There is no easy way. No matter what I do, somebody gets hurt.
Would you stop thinking about what everyone wants? Stop thinking about what I want, what he wants, what your parents want. What do you want? What do you want?
It's not that simple.
What do you want?
I keep coming back to you. Ooh, I keep coming back. You put me through hell, but I just can't stay mad at you. Know me so well, but you don't even have a clue that I'm the one that cares the most tonight.
All right, folks. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for tuning in on this wonderful Thursday evening. Tonight we have, or excuse me, thank you for tuning in this evening. We have a great show, another great show lined up for you tonight. Hello, my name is Gabe Leal.
And I'm Yvette Richardson,
Welcome to the Unwrap Love Show.
where we peel back the layers of love and relationships.
So, buckle up for love.
Everyone.
That's right. All right.
Okay, so in this episode, what we're going to do is we're going to delve into the manipulative world of love bombing. We're going to explore some of the tactics that people use, what are some of the red flags, and the lasting impact that it can have on its victims. As well as we're going to touch on the softer side of the true vulnerability.
Yes. This is a wonderful topic. Oh yeah. Well,
That's for later. I didn't know that was in the scene.
that's
Okay,
yeah.
put that over there.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Yes, this is a wonderful topic because we're gonna look at the scope of what both of these are because at times they are oh my god, they're both confusing because they're wrapped around love. And when you don't know the difference between the two, it's easily to be manipulated because you don't know.
Yeah, and sometimes you might feel like it's true love, or it could absolutely be love. But sometimes people on the outside might all of a sudden think, "Oh my gosh, they're love bombing you,"
Yes.
and jump to conclusions because this word has become trending. Like people use it all the time. It's like somebody does something for you. I remember Gabe sent me flowers to work. And even one of my students was like, he's love bombing you, miss. And I was like, how, what? Like, just because somebody sends you flowers doesn't mean they're love bombing you.
Yeah, so for those who don't exactly know what love bombing is a shower of excessive affection, attention, and gifts aimed at manipulating someone in a relationship. It often starts innocently enough, right? With compliments, gestures of kindness, and declarations of love. But beneath the surface, it's a calculated attempt to gain control and power. So, for those who don't know, that's exactly kind of what the definition of love bombing is.
Yeah, so sometimes that's why it can be kind of like a blurry line between somebody who's just being vulnerable, being themselves, trying to show their affection and their love for somebody because they're really getting to know them. There's a line, it's like, okay, is that person love bombing me because they're doing every single thing that a love bomber does? Like what's their intention? What's their intention behind what they're doing? Are they doing it for personal gain? Are they doing it to get something out of you? Or are they doing it because they really care and there's no strings attached? Cuz a lot of people will give expecting to get something in return. It's not giving just willingly, not sharing their love willingly. It is giving something because they want something back. And so a lot of love bombing is that they're expecting something in return.
Yes. So it's it's why one of the things I wanted to kind of discuss, and we've hit on this just briefly in some of the other past episodes, but we wanted to explore it a little bit more because it is something that we have both, well, I don't know both, but I've been accused of, um, when there was actually just a true intention behind what I was trying to do. And again, it's a trending thing for people to tell somebody, hey, you're getting love bombed, right? I mean, it's you can also understand why, because once we're going to start explaining what some of the excuse me, red flags are, things to look out for when somebody's love bombing you. So um
Yeah, and I think that, with him, he was accused of it because people like automatically jump to conclusions and they think because of some of the things that he does, because he's being nice, because he's being loving, because he's showing his true vulnerability, a lot of people will jump to conclusions about it. Well, yeah, you really have to know the person and understand the person over the long term because love bombing is short. Okay, so most people that are love bombing you, it's up front in the beginning of the relationship. And then you start to see, like he said, some of these red flags. So, what is it throughout that process? So I've been truly love bombed by somebody.
yeah.
So
So why do people love bomb? That's one of the things we're going to get into too as well, because love bombers have different motivations. Some have narcissistic tendencies, right? And they seek to inflate their ego by having someone completely devoted to them, right? So they're actually people that seek this. They want people to adore them, to worship them. They want to have the control and power, right? Others might have other insecurity and insecure attachments and styles and crave constant validation. I mean, whether the reasons their actions are harmful or ex- exploitive. Is that what yeah,
ex- exploitative.
exploitative. There you go. I can't get it out.
I'm struggling with that word too. If they're
Ex-
exploiting,
yes, yes,
if they're
exactly.
using it for harm, for to purposes of harm to you, then they're exploiting you.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
So that's just,
exploitative.
exploitative. That's another word. But yeah, there's always a motive behind it. So when somebody sees the opportunity and they're saying, I want somebody in my life, but I want somebody though that I can
Control.
control, I can manage, right? That's what they're looking for. So,
They're gonna treat you with
they
kindness.
find identifiers that they're going to pick out in somebody. And if that person doesn't meet or have or they give them at least the expectation that they can control this individual, they're going to move on. They're going to find somebody that can. Um, because again, that's what a narcissist wants to do, right? He wants to be the one in control. He wants
Or
to,
she,
or
because
she,
it can
oh,
be a female
true.
too.
Yeah, just as like in the photo here, we picked we, we picked this for a reason. So that's why I was just saying, of course, males probably, I don't know, I'm just guessing. This is just my thought, but males get um accused of this more than women, simply because we go into the pursuit of somebody for beauty or whatever it is, and we say, okay, we want to have this for ourselves. We want to control this. I mean, so that's just why I've said I've been accused of it before when I was just truly trying to be genuine. But we'll get into a little bit more of why there's an
The
importance to know
softer
the
side.
difference. Yeah,
Yeah.
to know the difference. Um,
Yeah, so one of the first signs of the love bombing is that they move really fast. So in the beginning, it's like all of a sudden they're really into you. And so they just start to say, you know what? I've never felt like this before. Like I'm just, wow, you are, and they'll start coming on really fast, like super fast in the beginning, and they'll start to try to understand you and read you so that they know how to get to you. So, a lot of true love bombers who are typically tied to a narcissist person will try to figure you out, and they want to know, and at the same time, figure out not just what you're into, but how they can control and manipulate you based on what they do for you. So for an example, one guy that I was dating, so I met him online, and everything was, good in the beginning. Like we were talking, we were getting to know each other, and then he was just like over the top excited to see me in person for the first time, which is fine. You can be excited in the beginning to meet somebody. But he was like texting a lot, which is okay, a little bit in the beginning. Sometimes you don't text as much as you go further into the relationship. But then when we get to the date, he gives me a gift, and it's a journal, and it's like a leather bound journal with a heart on the front. And so I open it up, and he wrote like an entire page talking about how we first met, how, this is our first date, how he can't wait for future adventures with me. And he wanted me to fill the pages of things that we were going to do together. Like this is our book of adventures. Like he wanted me to write into it, almost like it was the notebook. So he was trying to be romantic and give me this amazing gift. And so I take it home with me, and I show it to my brother, and my brother looks at it and he's like, ew, that's creepy. um what did he do, skin somebody to make that for you? And so my brother likes to joke. And so I was like, no, he didn't skin anybody. He was being thoughtful. I mean, I think, like, I don't know. I've never been given a gift like this on my first date. Usually, most of the guys I go out with, we just go for coffee. Like, they don't bring me anything. And so, for him to bring me a gift, I thought was different and I thought thoughtful. And so I told him, I said, yeah, I talked to my brother about it. And he said, he was asking me if you skinned somebody to make this get, to get this a previous girlfriend or something. You skinned them to make this journal. And so he was like, "Ooh, no, why would I do that?" He said, "I was just paying attention and I was listening to you. And you talked about how you like to, journal sometimes and you write things down. And so I just thought that I could get you a journal." And so I said, that's kind of thoughtful. And so I took it as that. Well, then he got me another gift. It was almost Mother's Day by the time, we were talking. And so he buys me this sign that says mom on it, and it has my daughter's names engraved in it. And he gave me that for Mother's Day. And I was like, oh, well, thank you. That was, and he was like, yes, I know your children are important to you. He forgot to put in my stepkids because they're my children too. So he wasn't listening too hard. But he, gave me another gift. And then it was like he was asking me, so did you show my gift to anybody? Like, what did they think? Do they like it? And he just was seeking approval for the things that he got me. And he wanted, almost like he wanted me to just keep thanking him for it. And so those were some of the things with a love bomber is they shower you with presents. So they keep giving things to you. Shower with presents.
Shower with, yeah, someone love and
I'm gonna
affection.
love bomb you right now, baby. So
Oh,
so for Valentine's Day, I'm giving him a.
oh,
So am I love bombing or is this true
is this true love? Yeah, is this true vulnerability or is this
So you
love
want to wait?
bombing?
Do you want to open it now or wait?
Let's. I don't know. Let's do it now.
Okay, okay,
Okay, because we still got a few more things to cover, but let's go ahead and have a little fun while we're doing this. So, all right,
okay.
here we go, guys. You're gonna see me do a live unboxing of, well, unwrapping.
Let's see what his reaction is. Is he gonna like it? So,
Okay.
all right, what's in the
Out
bag?
of the way. Let's see in the bag.
Uh-oh. Looks like you're gonna have to do more than just pull the paper out.
Okay, here we go. What do we got here? Ooh.
Oh, gotta unwrap
All
again.
right, we got to unwrap again. Hold on, folks.
So this is a early Valentine's Day present. So you can give, gifts to the person that you love at any time. It doesn't have to be on Valentine's Day, even though Valentine's Day is special.
Do the ASMR of the paper.
That's the love day. Oh yeah, do you like that sound?
All right, here we go, folks.
Can you tell what it is from the box?
No, I cannot, but
You can't? Oh, maybe you don't see the pictures I do on my side or the viewers.
I do not see it yet.
Okay.
All right,
There's
here we
it.
go. Oh.
Okay, so we like to drink coffee. So our little Chippendale mugs that we were borrowing from my brother and his girlfriend, one of them broke, so I got to find another one for that. But so I saw these online, and they're supposed to like match up. These show
Oh, look at
like
that.
they're together.
Such beautiful.
Isn't that cute? So this is the girl one, so we have to switch places. But
Okay.
yeah.
Look at that, folks. Now we got a new mugs to drink out of, so you'll see
Yeah.
us like, almost like playing little. Fun.
Yeah.
Like we can, I can even turn them like this, like we're kissing.
They're not as big as I thought they would be, but it's okay. They're still cute.
They're still cute.
Because this one's like a monster size. I like this size too.
Thank you, baby. That's all. That's awesome.
You're welcome.
Well, we usually say that for the show, but I guess since we're love bombing, we're just going to share that here. All right, let's go to the next one, which is excessive flattery and compliments, right? So they shower you with praise. They tell you all these wonderful things, like you're amazing, you're incredible, you're gorgeous, you're beautiful, just to make you feel warm inside, at ease. Like you're thinking, okay, this person really has,
They really like me.
they
And
really,
if
yeah,
it feels good, especially if you've been in a previous relationship where your partner never said a lot of compliments to you or they didn't shower you with gifts at any time. So when they start to give you presents and they start to compliment you all the time, it can feel good. It's a boost in your self-esteem. But what you have to watch out for is in between, inside the cracks. So, what are some of the other messages they're saying? What are they sending? What are their expectations? And so sometimes a love bomber is going to start slipping things in that might not be evident in the beginning, but you start to watch out for. So if they start saying, "Oh, well, I was texting you and I didn't hear from you for, like an hour or two. Is everything okay?" It might be slow at first. And then they're like, "Yeah, well, you didn't text me back right away. Like, you know, what's going on?" And then they start digging more. Like the love bomber I was with, I'm a teacher, so I'm off during the summers. And so he was like, "Yeah, you didn't text me back as fast as you sometimes do." And it's interesting because you're off during the summer and you would think you would text me back faster since you're not working today. So I don't understand why you're not texting me that fast. Is everything okay? And I'm like, dude, I'm watching a movie with my mom. I have, other things I can do. I'm not going to be at your beck and call on the phone texting you back every 5 seconds. So they start to kind of maneuver and start to send out some of these controlling vibes, or they start comparing you to somebody before, like and start mentioning exes and start using that as leverage against trying to manipulate you. So you have to pay attention to what else is going on besides just the compliments and the gift giving that they're doing.
yeah. So I mean, again, they're gonna make you feel warm inside, and that's the whole point, right? It's to they essentially want you to let your guard down. That's the whole point of how somebody that manipulates gets in, right? That's the hard part. But the next thing that we want to get into is how they isolate you from friends and family. Like this is one of the things that is part of the controlling part. Like they want to get you away from the support system that usually gives you like the advice. They talk to you. They actually see things for what they are. Like when you're in love, you have like a filter on sometimes, so it's kind of hard and difficult to tell whether or not somebody's doing something like manipulating you. And even if you do, you kind of find ways to compromise it, right? You find like excuses to say, well, he was just angry, or whatever it is that you tell yourself, like to think it's okay, right?
Yeah, especially if, this whole time he's been nice and then all of a sudden something happens, then, you will make those excuses.
Yeah. And So like when you somebody's like telling you like, hey man, maybe we should go do things a lot on our own, or maybe we should just stay at home. Like, you don't need to go see your mom. You see her all the time. Like there's things that they start subtly like putting into your mind, and you start saying it's okay. It's like, oh yeah, it's fine. If I don't go, I'll see you tomorrow, whatever. And the whole point is to start putting a distance between you, and then it might lead into something like an argument where like, hey, your mother doesn't like me. I don't want to be around them. Like it forces you away sometimes.
Yeah, and maybe they might even say something subtle like, "Really?" Like, in their tone. "You really have to go? Like, I want to spend time with you. Like, we need some alone time. Why don't we spend this, let's go to our house, like do these things." And so they slowly pull you into that relationship instead of allowing you to be your individual self at the same time.
Yeah.
So that's where the isolation slowly creeps in.
Yeah, and then the next one is they make you feel guilty. Like for things that you have nothing you've done wrong, right?
Mhm.
They find a way to put that weight upon yourself that you feel like you've done something wrong.
It's
You
the
could
gaslighting.
Yeah, it's all exactly. That's the term for it these days.
Yes,
But they
gaslighting.
gaslight you, right? They throw things on you, and they make you question your own intuitions, your own values, your own beliefs, so much so that you're willing to sell those out to be
Mhm.
with this person. You're like, maybe
Yeah.
they're right. Maybe I do have something wrong with me. Like once you start
Mhm.
questioning that, you're already in trouble.
Yeah, questioning your own sanity, questioning your behavior, like wondering why, is it me? When you start feeling guilty, anytime you start feeling guilty, that can be a red flag. So once you start feeling that way in the relationship, you should never feel guilty all
All
the
the
time,
time. Yeah.
thinking that everything's your fault. But yeah, the guy that I was talking to that had a lot of these red flags, I didn't know what love bombing was, and I hadn't read up on trauma bonding, and I hadn't read up on a lot of these things, and I didn't realize he was snaking his way into my life. But like other things, and a lot of it revolved around texting. It was one day I texted him good morning. He hearted it. And then I didn't talk to him the rest of the day because I was busy at work, and he didn't text me. So I figured he was busy at work. And then I was going to say something after work. And then he sends me this long ass message saying, you know what? I was busy today. I had all these phone calls that I had to make. I was really busy working. And, I think you're playing games with me just like my ex girlfriend used to do.
Oh.
You're playing these
Wow.
mind games with me, and you're just waiting for me to text first. You think it's my job as a man to text you first instead of you texting me. You could have texted me all day long, but you didn't text me. You're waiting for me to send something to you. That's mind games. You're playing games with me. And I said, "Excuse me?" And so I tried to call him because I was like, "What the hell's wrong with you?" And so I tried calling him. He wouldn't answer the phone. I texted him. He wouldn't text me back. So he starts giving me the cold shoulder. I call him several times. He doesn't answer. And finally, he texts me. He's like, "I'm busy at work right now." And so he won't like respond. And so I text him back and I said, "Listen, we need to talk about this over the phone. Maybe there's some miscommunication, but I need to talk to you." And so we get on the phone. And I'm like, "I don't know where you come off saying I'm playing games with you." I said, "I was busy at work. I figured you were busy. Fine, I was gonna talk to you after work, but you're jumping to conclusions and making me feel like I'm the guilty person because it's my fault because I didn't text you and now you're comparing me to your ex." I said, "Do not ever compare me to your ex." I said, "I'm nothing like whoever this ex is. So I don't know why you're saying these things." And so we talked it through and I thought everything was fine. And then again, something with the text message. I'm not initiating conversation enough. And it was just like, okay, he is really trying to control me here. He's trying to manipulate me. He's trying to control me. He's making me feel guilty. He's gaslighting me. So I told him it was over. And he wanted to talk to me on the phone. He was like, "We need to talk." So I talked to him on the phone. I said, "Listen, You have narcissistic tendencies. You may not be a narcissist. I don't know. I said, but you sure do have some tendencies. You've been gaslighting me. I said, I am over this. I do not want to be in a relationship where you're trying to turn me into some woman that you want. I'm sorry. That's not me. And it will never be me. And so he was real quiet. And then all of a sudden he sends me this email and he's like, you know, I'm sorry. I wasn't being myself. And, I don't think I would ever gaslight you. I didn't even know what that was. And I read about it and I would never gaslight you.
Yeah, right.
Never. And he was like, I'm sorry. And so I was like, whatever. Like, I just didn't want to talk to him. So then he shows up at my house bringing me another gift. So he leaves at my house an I'm sorry card and a gift card for a massage. So he's trying to love bomb me again with a gift card. Like that's going to smooth it over and make me feel better. And so then he calls me a couple days later and I'm like, what? And I said, and he's like, well, can we talk? And I'm like, thanks for the card. But yeah, I mean, I still feel the same way. And he's like, well, maybe I can take you out for dinner on Friday. And I was like, okay. I said, if you want to, come pick me up. And I'm not going to your house. And so he was like, "What? I'm not going to start and backtrack and start this relationship over again." And I'm like, "Well, if you want to talk," I said, "we'll do it like, the traditional way. Come pick me up for the date, drop me back off at my house. I don't want to go to your house." And so he got mad and I was like, I guess it's over then. Like, I'm done with you. I didn't want to have anything else to do with him. And finally it was over. And so, yeah, it was
It's
definitely a true love bomber. And it
it's that
lasted 2 months. That was it.
that's that Jekyll and Hyde personality right
Yeah.
there. Like you see that person and like, how can someone be so caring yet can be so vindictive and
Yes.
like it's hard, right? To make you think yourself like, how is this the same person? Like
Yeah.
it's scary to think this that there are some people that go through this all the time and they never know the difference and they just think, but again, they rectify it in their minds like
They argue with you about stuff. I mean, that's part of it. Yeah.
they tell
And
themselves it's okay, like it's okay. They had a bad day. It was a hard day at
yes.
work, right? And or whatever the excuse they have to find to make it seem okay for
To,
themselves, like
to treat you like that.
yeah, to say it's okay. They what they did was
They
fine.
justify it, they rationalize it, and they make you think that you are the one that's the issue instead of themselves. They won't ever look at themselves. And if you call a narcissist, they're not going to believe you because narcissists don't believe they're a narcissist. They don't
No, they don't.
understand. They don't believe it and they move on. Like he literally was like, I am a loving person. I am this way. And he's like, and I gave you gifts. He even told me that at the end. Like, I bought you gifts, and all you got me was a t shirt that didn't even fit me. But I got you presents, and, I gave you stuff. And he was just throwing it in my face like I cared. And so I was like, no, you're a crybaby. And like his excuse, this was his excuse. He's sensitive. That's why I say sensitive men, you gotta watch out for, because he was always anytime something happened, he's like, "I'm really sensitive." And so, I was walking on eggshells around this dude. So yeah, that was my only, like, relationship after my marriage that I attempted to be in. And like I said, it lasted 2 months and I was done, so far done. I was like, after him, that's why I took a 7-month break. I was like, "Mm-mm, I'm not going to look for anything else. I'm not putting myself out there for a while. I'm just focusing on
Well,
myself right now."
again, that's what the impact of love bombing can have serious emotional consequences for the victim. It can lead to confusion, right? Isolation and distorted sense of self worth. Like you say, I want to put myself on the shelf now because I don't know what the hell I did wrong. Like if this is how love is supposed to be, I want no part, right?
Yeah.
So in some cases, it can even escalate to physical or emotional abuse. Like there are things you have to watch out for when you get into a relationship with somebody who's love bombing you. So again, it's slight, it's subtle, it's beguiling the way that it kind of just morphs into that. It comes from like this incredible person of love to all of a sudden this person of controlling, manipulative. I get that right. Power. Like they're like, hey, this is what I need. I need you. I need this from you if we're going to stay doing this, right? And
Yeah.
then you start doing, okay, well, this is what he needs. Oh, and there's my reason. So see, it's saying LinkedIn is not showing mobile commenters, so you have to go back to the original post, not the. Wow, thank you, LinkedIn. Um, Great. Well,
Yes.
at least CSE sees us over on YouTube. I do appreciate it. Yeah.
Yes, Lisa, exactly. I was better by myself.
Well,
That's why I was like, I'm done. And I even told my brother, like, I'm gonna stay single,
remember,
you know?
yeah,
Like,
exactly. But remember, hey, look, protect yourself, right? Hey, trust your gut. Your intuition starts telling you things. There's a reason it's doing it. Maintain your healthy boundaries. That's the one thing you want to do is like to crush your boundaries when you get involved with the love bomber, right?
yeah, and don't ignore those red flags. When you start to feel uncomfortable, like something isn't right, trust your instinct because your instinct usually tells you. And so that's what it was doing to me. So I would run it by somebody else and I was like, "Hey,
Ye-
they're saying this, what's your perspective on it?" And so I was seeking outside help too, and they're like, no, I don't think that's right.
Yeah.
And so I was getting one of my friends to kind of help me understand like why he was saying this stuff. I was talking to her about, how it was making me feel. And she was like, I think he's gaslighting you. And so I got a little bit of help in understanding it and then understanding what a narcissist was. And my friend, she was really good. I sent her the link. I don't know if she's going to watch it anywhere, but my friend Rachel, she was sending me definitions of what a narcissist was, and she was like highlighting things, and she was like, read this, and so I was reading up on articles on it, and I was like, you know what? He really is. I mean, I can't really diagnose him. I have my psychology major, my degree, but I don't think I'm a professional enough to diagnose you with narcissism. But you're really falling under that category
Okay.
of being a narcissist.
A lot of the boxes are being checked here, not in a good way. So yeah, and yeah, Charlie, just so people know, LinkedIn Mobile, if you're commenting, the comments aren't
Yes.
showing up, but
We
that's
don't
okay.
see them. So come somewhere else to comment. Go to YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube. We have our Unwrap Love Facebook page. You can go head over there. We got a few other places if you want to check us out, just because we know technology doesn't always work out. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's go.
No, we're not trying to
No,
ignore anybody.
absolutely not, Charlie. No, no. So the next thing we wanted to get into was true vulnerability. So there's a
Well, did we go over all the rest of these?
yeah. I mean, trust your gut.
Yeah, and then seek professional help
Help. Yeah,
too.
your boundaries.
So, yeah, some people might need to seek professional help, especially if you keep falling into the same type of situation over and over again and you haven't learned your lesson and you're like, "Dang, I keep getting love bombed in every relationship." You might need to seek more help, maybe some professional help to see why you're struggling to figure out especially if you have any deep effects of the love bombing, consider talking to a therapist, a counselor, somebody to talk through what's going on so you're not repeating getting into a situation of love bombing again.
Yes. So now we're gonna kind of go in contrast of kind of the opposite of what that.
Oh, go ahead. Just keep talking.
Oh yeah. Well, I did kind of make mention of
Yeah,
like
we'll in a
the
second.
boundaries and
Yeah.
talking. You kind of mentioned you pretty much talked to everything in there. Talking to your friends and family. You brought somebody in. You kind of just hit on all the touch points pretty quickly. I was going okay. She said intuition. Trust your gut. She said, don't rush.
Yeah, don't rush. Well, the one thing I didn't say is don't rush into intimacy or commitment right away. So, like with that guy, I did not like the intimacy. We got too close a little too fast, but the commitment part on I'm gonna just be with him, like that didn't happen. He at first wanted to commit to just me, but then he was like, well, I might talk to other people. And I'm like, so I will too. So we didn't commit and say, yes, we are for sure locked in, boyfriend, girlfriend, can't see anybody else. So, but yeah, don't do that. Don't super commit or become too intimate too fast.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. All right, now let's move into where I feel like I was coming from whenever we started like our relationship, and that was just coming and being truly vulnerable. So true vulnerability isn't a one
My
size
friend
fit.
Sarah's calling.
Oh.
Can I answer? Okay. Will it go
Yeah,
on the air if I hit
yeah.
on?
No, it shouldn't. It shouldn't.
Okay. All right. I went to voice.
Voicemail.
Well, I think. Oh,
Okay,
can you still answer it?
it won't go on because it's not hooked into the other one.
Okay.
Now, if you want to put it on,
Hey.
you got to put that other one in.
Oh, it's okay. Sarah,
Okay.
how are you feeling? I'm good.
Or-
Yeah, my friend Sarah, sorry, Sarah, we're live right now. So Sarah is one of my really good friends. She just had surgery today. So if you believe in prayers, please send prayers her way. So she's just calling in real quick. I don't think she realizes that we're live. I sent you a text with our live thing. Did you see it, Sarah?
That's all right. This is a live show.
It's okay. That's how much I love you. I went ahead and answered it, even though we're live on the air right now.
This is beyond the scope of what I usually do anyway. So
Okay.
all right.
Yeah, and just answer my message too, or I'll call you back about Saturday.
There you go. We're making
Okay.
plans. We're good.
I love you too. I sent you the link if you
All
want
right.
to
And watch. Tune in.
watch.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
All right, Jim. Do you guys know what we do for a living? I'm just kidding. That's all right. Hey, it wouldn't again. It wouldn't have been the first time. Okay. Thank you. See ya. Have a good time. Appreciate you. I know you're always a busy woman. We got to get you on the show. See ya. We got to talk. Okay. Where was it going? True. There you go. See, I can't even think. True vulnerability isn't a one size fits all concept, but rather a spectrum with many diverse expressions. It involves exposing yourself emotionally and potentially risking rejection, hurt, or disappointment. It's crucial for couples wanting to grow together in a relationship. Like, so being absolutely vulnerable, you don't know what the other person is going to say or feel. Like, you're expressing yourself without the thought of, okay, they might reciprocate. Where love bombing is different. They're throwing compliments your way. They're making you feel great. Like, they're doing this whole buildup where someone's just trying to be genuine and saying things along the lines of, I think you're really great and I like you and I want to get to know you. I don't have to throw all these other adjectives into what I want to express. Like, it's just being me, being truthful to this person and not knowing what I'm going to get in return. I don't have an expectation either. Like, she's going to reciprocate. I mean, that's where it comes from, a point of like, I could be hurt. I could be rejected. I could get disappointed, and that's okay. But when you're truly vulnerable, all those things don't matter as far as like what you're trying to do. You're not trying to earn, you're not trying to steal away something. You're not trying to pull the wool over somebody's eye.
You're not trying to own them.
Yeah, exactly. Especially that, So, oh, okay. We got some people. I just want to say hi. Hello, Kenneth. Thank you for tuning in. Okay. Yeah, but I mean, just being truly vulnerable with somebody takes a lot.
Yeah, and so part of that, exposing yourself and being emotionally, like exposing your emotions, not, with the anticipation that they could or could not. You don't know. You don't know if they're going to accept it or not. You hope that they do, But if they don't, you understand and you're not going to get ticked off about it, or you're not doing it for some personal gain. But like the definition says, it's crucial for couples that want to grow together in a relationship to be able to do that and not automatically assume that it's love bombing. I had the last like relationship I had before Gabe was the love bomber. And when Gabe was coming across, and saying all these sweet things to me, and one of the comments he made was, I'm never really lucky at winning when I play, gamble and stuff. I don't usually win money, but I have won the jackpot with you. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so sweet. And so, we were kind of going back and forth. Well, I thought it was a good idea to screenshot it and share it with people that usually are always talking about how they are, not able to meet good guys, and that there's not any out there, and they're always like looking at the red flags. And so I shared a message and I was like, for finally, I don't see any red flags. Like, there's no red flags in this. And I screenshotted that part of the conversation. And they're like, that's a red flag. He's love bombing you. And so people were just all of a sudden, this message blew up, and all these people are accusing Gabe of love bombing. And at first, I was like, wait a minute. I've been there. I hope he's not doing that. And so I got a little nervous. And so I pulled back just a little bit. And I was like, okay, well, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, I'm so glad I had the opportunity to get to know you. And he's like, yeah, absolutely. And he didn't freak out because I said that. He was fine about it. He wasn't pressuring me or anything. And so when we met, he showed me his vulnerable side. Like, he told me that he loved me. And that was different because nobody's ever said they love me on the first date before. And so, you know, I was, eh, I felt the love too. So I said it back. And it's just grown since then. And he's never dangled it in front of me or tried to, make me feel guilty or bad about anything. And we've talked through things. We communicate. We're very open with each other. We share our emotions, like raw emotions about everything. And yeah, there is that potential to face rejection when you open up. But he's always made me feel safe. He's always made me feel loved for when I open up to him. He's never made me feel guilty for anything. So no, Gabe was never love bombing me. So there's definitely a difference between the love bombing with strings attached and the love bombing or the love giving that someone gives you, where they're giving it because they just love, because they like to share love, because they enjoy loving other people.
Yeah.
And those people are showing their true vulnerable side.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can look at the aspects of what true vulnerability is, right? It's coming with intention and authenticity, which is something I was always about. Like, I always have shared from the heart, man. I wear my emotions on my sleeve. Okay. Um, and it was one of the things that I always prided myself on, is just to be genuine. Like, I don't have any expectations in return. If this person is truly meant to love me, they will, and they'll accept what I have to tell them. Like, it's just being upfront and honest about who I was. I had nothing to gain. Like, I wasn't trying to gain somebody's love. I've already learned that the hard way, that that's not a way to have a relationship, and not a foundational piece to build something hopefully long lasting with somebody. So yeah, I always had intention that I wanted to be vulnerable with somebody, and I just had to share who I was and what I was. You guys know this because I've shared it with all of you. Like, I've been that before here behind a camera, so why wouldn't I want to do this and just be who I am with the person, especially if we hit it off and we become like we are now. We're partners in love and we're doing this. So yeah, I just had to be who I was, because if I was somebody else, I would have just felt bad and awful, because the truth always surfaces and you always know that like something's just not right. And when it does, it's an awful place to be, and it's an awful feeling to you know, have to expose yourself in that way. And I wouldn't want to. That's why I said just put all my cards on the table and be honest with what I am, who I am, and this person will either choose to love me or not. And I have to be okay with that.
Yeah, and a lot of people initially they want to show their best self on their best day. They want to show you how amazing and wonderful they are. And they want to show that in the very beginning. A lot of people do that. They show their best side, they put on a performance, they put on an act, and you a lot of times, a lot of people are or naive about it and they think, wow, this person is great. They're amazing. They're so incredible. And then slowly they start to change. And so a lot of people think that too in marriages and relationships, we're like, oh, you're in the honeymoon phase. Because in the beginning, everybody puts on their first, their good side. But one of the things that I valued about getting to know Gabe before we even met in person is we shared our flaws, the things that were, not our best side, the things that we may or may not like about ourselves, but maybe we're working on. We shared everything. And most guys, even girls, are too afraid to do that. They want to pretend and show that they're this amazing, loving, incredible person. Like on their profiles, they'll say all these positive things, which is good at first to show that side of you. But when you're getting to know someone, you got to lay down everything because then there's no surprises as you're going through the relationship. If you've got issues with anger, then you need to be upfront about that in the beginning and say, yeah, sometimes I do have these anger issues. I'm really working on it. I try not to be, whatever the case might be, you have to discuss that in the beginning. Um, but with Gabe, he showed his true self from the beginning, and showed my true self,
Yeah.
and that's why we've really been able to work, flourish, grow, improve, learn together, even do the show together because it is true. It's
Yeah.
true and it's honest and it's real.
And it's why, like I say, when you are that person, whether I am this person all the time. So whether you meet me, but on camera here and I'm talking to you and we have a conversation, or you meet me in person, I'm going to be the same. I'm going to be the same individual, camera or not. Um, so I'm just who I am all the time. I don't have to wear a mask. I don't have to feel like I'm turning on a personality. I don't have to do any of that. I am just me. Okay.
Yes.
So when you're doing that and you bring that out to somebody when you're interested in dating them, I mean, it comes across, it radiates, and they know that, and they have, again, the intuition feelings that somebody's going to have. They're going to go, okay, yeah, this is who this person is. Like I can see him or her for who they are, instead of hiding behind the things that somebody that's love bombing you, gifts and compliments and all these other things. um you do these things and people know, like, this guy is like, have you heard of salt of the earth, the worth is weight, whatever it is. So
Exactly, exactly. And so and that I think that's what's cool about how me and Gabe work, because that's how I am at school. I'm straight up honest. Sometimes my students have questions and they'll have questions about whatever and I'm like, you can ask me anything. I'm going to straight up tell you the truth. I don't think you should hide or lie about who you are as a person because then it's like, okay, wait a minute, I got to make sure that I act this way in this place, and this way in that place, and this way in that place. And you're different people wherever you go. And sometimes in relationships, you might act completely different when you are with your family compared to with when you go home to that relationship, or in your job compared to when you go home. You put on these different masks of who you are. And if you can't pull all of the masks off and just be your true self wherever you go, then sometimes it can cause problems in your own personal life.
right, and my thing is, man, it is exhausting trying to be somebody else. I just I don't, you know life is already hard enough without having to portray or to pretend that something you're not. And that's why, like, I love people when they're truly authentic, and you see it multiple times, and then all of a sudden you say you get a chance to meet him. You're like, man, I've heard that before, and I've said it to people themselves. You're just like you are on camera. It's like, yeah, what else do you expect? Like it's not an act. It's not something that I just turn on and off. It's just me being me. Uh,
Like actors do.
yeah, like
Actors have to do that in every movie and show and, comedians and a lot of them will put on this act and this performance in this show. Well, people do that in real life too. It's called dramaturgy. So they'll put on this performance wherever they go. And yeah, if that happens, it can be detrimental in relationships, especially when you start seeing your person in a different location and you're like, wait a minute, why are you like that with them, but you're not like that with me? And then you start to get, a person in a relationship starts to get confused because you're like, well, wait a minute. Like, that's not
yeah,
you.
I mean, why would again? Why would you want? And not that how dare you not have an on air personality? But my thing is this: like, I mean, the camera turns off. You still have to live life, right? You still have to be that person. And I I love Howard Stern. I've always loved what he's done. I mean, he's done some very crazy things, some awful things, some good things. He's done a little bit of all. But one of the things that he would share his life. He would just be honest about it. His wife, his kids, um, and there were some things that he did, and I think he realized it later on. Is like you have to just be who you are. Like he's like, I'm just doing it for the show. No, you don't just do it for your show. You do it for who you are. And if that's the thing you are, like I've done crazy things on my streams, right? That's who I am in real person, though. Like someone dares me to eat something and it's like, hey, there's $50 on the table. I might try and go, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
he'll
not,
do a lot for money.
I do. Right. Uh, yeah. So if you want my GoFundMe, I'm going to excuse me, my Cash App and Venmo, I'll put it on the bottom here in a minute. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not. But yeah, I mean, it's just about just expressing the trueness of who you are, what your values are, how you hold yourself as far as like how much do you respect and love yourself and knowing your boundaries. Like these are things that really help express how vulnerable you truly can be. Because when you know all these things about yourself and what they are to you and what they mean to you, it's easy. It's easy. You don't have to pretend. Like it took me a while, but damn, I'm the most self-aware I've ever been in my life, and I'm still learning more and more about myself.
Yeah, it kind of sucks that it doesn't happen earlier in life. Like you have to go through a lot before you
Yeah,
really sometimes figure yourself out. And sadly, that's why sometimes relationships don't always work out
hi
whenever
Randy.
you get together when you're too young. So sometimes, if you get together with somebody out of high school and you don't know yourself and then you start to grow apart and then you're like, okay, maybe I don't want to be with that person. And so it becomes more challenging. So as you get older, especially if you're looking to meet the right person, you have to be yourself and know who you are. You can't be yourself if you don't know who you are. So you got to figure that out, and what your personality is like so that you can share that and be
Well,
vulnerable.
this is pretty interesting. Charlie Powers, who's Powered Up Art on YouTube, says, "I'm a modular personality, and it confuses people. It's not that I'm inauthentic or anything, but I can adapt my personality. Oh, and put that on again. I can adapt my personality to the extent around others to make them more comfortable." Mm. But the thing is, like, you're still
Hmm.
compromising things about
Yeah.
yourself, right? When somebody says something like political, and although you don't agree with it, you're not going
Hmm.
to say anything because you're like, you don't want to rock the boat.
Yeah, and it's kind of that's more challenging to do when you're in a work environment. So I understand in a work environment, like I will still say something if I need to, but I don't just like keep going at it. Like for example, I love my students and I am there. I am so passionate about them, not just learning about the content, but applying what they learn to real life because I know outside of high school, they're going to be adults and they're trying to figure out life. And so, whatever I can provide for them to be successful in the future, I'm there. And I love every single student. It doesn't matter how challenging they are, I still love them. And so, what bugs me the most, it irritates me beyond belief when teachers talk crap about other students. When they start complaining or saying, oh my gosh, I can't stand this student. Like, in the beginning, when I first started teaching, and I heard other teachers do it, I was in shock. And so I was like, well, maybe you should try this. And I started giving advice to these teachers who I was brand new. They'd been teaching for like 10 or more years. And here I am coming in trying to help them
Coming in hot.
understand like how they could treat their students better. And so I kept doing that over and over. And then what I found is they didn't care. They wouldn't listen to me. And nothing I said mattered. And then I started feeling like they were just ignoring me. And then I started feeling anxious and my heart would race anytime I was around them. And so I went and talked to my nurse at school about it. And I was like, I feel dizzy. I feel like I'm going to faint. And so we walked through it and talked about everything. And my nurse, I love her to death. She was like, maybe the next time you're around teachers that start doing that, well, kindly excuse yourself and say, oh, I need, to work on something in my classroom. And so then find your way away from them and don't subject yourself to other people that are talking bad about students. And so, yes, I want to stand up for them, but sometimes teachers, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you say. They're stuck in their head that, it's the kids that are the bad ones.
Yeah.
It's the kids that are the bad ones. Instead of trying to figure out yourself and how to be a better dang teacher, and so I just kind of don't hang around other teachers. I mean, Sarah, the one that called, she's a teacher. And oh my God, I love her to death. She loves students. I love students. So teachers like that, I hang around. So I can be myself and I can open up and I can talk to other people that are like minded. But the ones that I don't agree with, I just kind of kindly exit out.
So just a few things to touch on. Sarah's like hello watching on Facebook, doing the right thing, like heading over to our Facebook Unwrap Love page and following. And she says, "You sound like the teacher. They will remember when they have grandchildren of their own." And that's kind of the idea, right? It's the ripple effect you create, how far that goes along.
Thank you,
And
Sarah.
then, of course, Charlie's like, "Oh, don't get me wrong. I certainly try not to compromise my ethics or anything. I quit a career opportunity as a CTO recently because I had an issue with the culture." So, I mean, that,
Did you click on the one? My parents have been together for 50 years and they are more in love than ever.
yeah, sometimes
Yeah.
people get lucky.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think they would explain it as getting lucky. I think they would tell you a different story. Um, there's just so much that goes into it. We see it from that perspective, but they actually know the truth of how long and how much it is to invest in somebody for such a long time and still be in love. And it's possible. So that's why it always gives me hope. I want another 40 years if I'm lucky, to spend with this wonderful woman sitting next to me. Um,
I know that's one reason we decided to get healthy. So we've been on a diet now for since January 1st.
yeah,
I haven't checked the scale in a few days. He just checked it today. And how many pounds have you lost, honey?
24. So I'm back 24 pounds. Nice.
Yes, and I've lost when I checked last 21. So it's the diet that we're on is the South Beach diet. I've been posting about it on my TikTok page. But it's really, really working. And what's crazy is it's a diet that came out over 20 years ago. But I found the book at a Goodwill store. I decided to read the book and I get knowledgeable about it before I started. And it's amazing like how fast the weight started coming off and how great we feel and the really good foods that we're eating. So it's been working really well for
Yeah.
us. So
So
yeah, because we love each other, we want to live a little longer.
So Justin over there watching on YouTube says this is one. Thank you, Justin, for tuning in. I do appreciate it. And congrats. Thank you, Sarah. We do appreciate it. And
Yeah.
yes, your parents, I would say they would say it takes skill to be lucky.
Yes, it does take some
And I've been
skill.
sick the past 2 weeks, so you can say I'm dying. Yeah. I think that's been going
Dang.
around. I don't know what's going around, but it's going
There's all
around.
kinds of stuff
Stuff's
going
going
around.
around.
My
So,
my oldest daughter has the flu right now.
so yeah, flu,
Yeah, we have like big
COVID, RSV. It's everywhere. So just watch out. Be careful. Um, so again, just to kind of summarize things real quick, true vulnerability isn't about weakness, but courage and strength. It requires self awareness, which I was just meant. I'm most aware like ever been, like I said, I've ever been in my life, and it's a willingness to embrace the whole self, imperfections, and everything. So it's like accepting who I am the way I am, all my flaws and everything else, and being okay with it, and knowing that the person sitting across from me is going to love me for the same thing. I don't have to worry about it. I don't feel like
Yes.
I have to change things unless I need to change them for myself first. And then, and it goes that way, right? You don't you love that person, but again, loving self is one of those things where you take care of the things you need to take care of that take care of you, right? So if it's your health or it's your mental health or whether it's your emotions, what anything along those lines, right? You really have to just put that in perspective and say, okay, let me do this for me because I think it's going to help. It's going to be taking care of yourself first. It's going to be beneficial for you to between the both of you as a couple, where it's not just the burden of somebody else taking care of me. It's you in control of the things that you can control.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are some couples too that one, and this is why sometimes it's hard. Like one person decides to take care of themselves and to get healthy and to eat right and to exercise, but the other person chooses not to, and they start gaining weight and getting bigger and bigger. And it's not like you don't love that person, but it makes it more challenging when both of you aren't on the same page. So I thought it was really awesome that me and Gabe gained weight together and now we're losing weight together.
That's right. That's right. That's right, folks. That's the whole point, right? Is to do this together as it's a journey, right? It's a journey you take together
Mhm.
and one that you hope to enjoy. So, um, you know, again, in closing, just want to say that love is meant to be enjoyed by both partners. You guys are supposed to enjoy this together, right?
Not just
Not
one
just one person
person
controlling it, not just one person being
getting
vulnerable.
their way.
Yeah,
Like sometimes they think, oh, they should get their way every time, but the other person doesn't. One person feeling all the love and getting all the attention, being loved on, but the other person doesn't feel it. Like, no, it's love is a two-way street. You should both feel that love.
yeah. And the goal is having a connection based on openness and communication. Means not having one partner's values or ideals overshadowing the others. I mean, recognition of boundaries, insecurities, and just genuine compassion for the other person is a clear indication of being vulnerable. There lies the foundation of building a strong relationship together. Like all these things that we just touched upon about being vulnerable are really strong foundational pieces that you can lay down when you meet somebody and you think this is the right person and this is where I want to invest my energy, my love, my everything into this because you start feeling that and you feel like I can be that vulnerable with that person and it's gonna be easy for
So I was
needless to
reading Charlie's comment.
yeah, it needs some love behind me.
Yeah, it's it's starting to act up.
It's starting to act up.
I can see the little green showing
It
through.
wasn't doing it earlier, but for some reason it's starting to do it
Um,
now.
yeah.
It's again, it's live, guys. Yeah,
um,
we do better than this thing. So
yeah, so it's really, really, really important then when you open up and you share your feelings and you share your emotions and you open up to that person because yeah, you should be open and communicate. When you do that, it's so important that your partner listens, that your partner starts to try to understand your point of view and your perspective. Because if you have a partner that's upset and wants to tell you how they feel and you don't validate their feelings and you make them feel worse or guilty, like that's not showing them love. That's not showing them love at all. You should be allowed to listen and understand what somebody's feeling. You should be allowed to say how you're feeling without feeling even worse for opening up.
yeah.
Like you should feel better when you tell your partner because they're supposed to be listening, understanding, accepting, and showing you love for you being vulnerable. So it takes both people to be able to do that anytime you need to share your emotions and your feelings in that relationship.
Mm.
And
So
Imo, it's so good to see you.
thank you for tuning in from a rainy California.
Yes.
So we do appreciate it, and you know, hopefully next time we start these at would be 6:30 Pacific Standard Time if you're over there. So you're catching us a little late. We are getting close to wrapping up, but we will uh, go more in depth into some of the topics that we've kind of discussed already, because we are going to do an audio podcast as well. So there will be more deeper episodes. We'll talk about more personal experiences and what that is. Like, we don't, we kind of touch the surface on things. They go a little bit deeper. So we're going to go into those conversations. Plus, we're going to have other people that we're going to be bringing on and talking about their experiences that relate to the topics that we're going to discuss. Um, so let's see. uh, oh, okay. There you go.
Very sweet.
Yes. Look at that. Read that again. Uh, oh, okay. I know who this is. This is my friend Krista's husband. Nice. Thank you for tuning in. I know she might be busy. She's in France, so yeah. But my phone wasn't letting me connect, but I got in. Thank you, Sarah, always. Um, I'll schedule. Yeah, please do. We do these every Tuesdays and Thursdays, and we are going to. I was about to tell you. Want to talk about the topic we're going into on Tuesday? Excuse me.
Yes, I will. Before that, I just want to also mention if you're tuning in and you'd like to be a part of the show, like let us know, email us, contact us, because we are going to be starting to line up people. We're thinking about doing it on Thursdays. So Tuesday we'll talk, and then Thursday we'll interview. So if you guys want to be on the show, please let us know. And so Tuesday, what we're going to be talking about next week is, when are you ready to stop being
Single,
single?
right?
So when is the time
When?
to start, looking to be open to a relationship? When should you be ready? So we'll be talking about that
Yeah,
on
there are
Tuesday.
many things that you have to come to a conclusion on before just jumping in, because if you go ass backwards, things can really spiral out of control. Sarah has left the chat. Don't leave the chat yet, Sarah. We're not done yet.
No, you're
So
gonna come on Tuesday, right,
yeah,
Sarah?
we'll be here Tuesday again. Tuesdays we go live 8:30 Central Standard Time, 6:30 Pacific, 9:30 Eastern. So just so you know, we're exploring love together, so we're sharing our own journey and what we've gone through and what we're still learning with you guys. And then we want to bring into the community people who have gone through the experiences, and we're searching for people, couples, individuals who have gone through things like love bombing, right? They have their own stories to share. um People seeking like advice. We want to guide people into getting into the dating game, because it's very difficult if you don't know what you're doing. People have I've had horror stories that people talk in, like, I don't want to do it again, simply because they get in and it's so confusing and it's all over the place. They don't quite understand. So there is it gets like getting on a boat. It's good to have somebody that can navigate you, to be your guide, to walk you through and wade through the waters of dating. So that's kind of what we want to do and help you guys as well. If anybody's interested, we'll get to that point
Yeah,
further down.
so any situations, if you have questions about something, while you're in the process of dating, or a relationship issue, anything like that, you can email us and let us know, and we will do our best to help you. I do have life experience. I'm also a psychology major and sociology major, so I understand people, and
Yeah.
Gabe has a lot of
Oh,
experience.
thanks. It's here. Just again, being on this journey has taught me so much about how to connect with people, and to be able to share be able to share everything that's invested, that everybody's invested in me, with their stories and their experiences and the journeys they had, to kind of turn around and use it to help others. So that's kind of where this journey kind of marries together. And both, hopefully down the road we will be there as well. We will.
Yeah, we wanna do it live, so we're trying to get skinny first, so that's one of our goals.
This is
As
the
skinny as we
can
can,
be. So,
and a little muscle.
and a little more. There you
Yeah,
go.
he wants more than me.
I want more. Exactly. I do. Um. So hey, may your life be filled with laughter,
Sparks and genuine connections.
and remember, love is a beautiful journey.
So keep unwrapping it with
Open
open hearts
hearts
and
and
open
open
minds.
minds. And don't forget to subscribe and tune in next time to another unwrap episode. Excuse me. The next time as we unwrap another layer of love on the Unwrap Love Show. I was looking at Dan's comment. It kind of threw me off a little bit. He's like, "The stuff is still going on." Yes, it is.
Yes, for life, Dan. This is for life. We're gonna be like in our 90s still talking to y'all.
Yes. Well, that's okay if you have that kind of love, Dan. If you love tacos, so be it. It's a wonderful thing to be in love with. Thank you again, Yolanda. You're the best. We do appreciate you for tuning in. So, baby, do you have any final words?
Let me think. I love you.
I love you. All right, folks. We will see you again Tuesday. Have a great weekend. Again, when I drop the podcast after we've had a few episodes, I will start sending out notifications so you guys can go listen there as well. And if you want to reach out and join our Facebook group, we have a group called Love Talk, which we're building and developing to bring a lot of these people, these conversations, these things to a closer knit community of people who want to share and bring in others just to do the same thing, to help. Everybody's got an experience in love, and I think they all have value. So that's what we want to do. We want to help build this out and bring in as many people as we possibly can. So thank you again, everybody, for tuning in. You guys have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe. We will see you again
on Tuesday.
So
All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.